Today I'm talking about my teen romantic comedy snafu, aka Oregairu for short. And I wrote down some notes on the side when I was watching the show, and I wrote down a reflection at the end of each episode. So today I'm going to be going through some of those notes for you. So let's go episode by episode on my journey through this entire show and my experience throughout season one. If you haven't seen the show, obviously spoilers, go watch the show. If you don't care about spoilers, continue along, or if you've seen the show, let's do this thing. So, my name's Sean. Onwards. Transition me. Do the transition.
Youth is a lie. It is nothing but evil.
So as I wrote in my notes, a first impression of me is that this show is not just another romantic comedy. The main character Hachiman interests me with seemingly a lone perspective on life based off of tragic experiences of a normal life with rejection and the typical, school romantics not working out for him. Yukino, with how harsh she can be, but still truthful, is something admirable and something a little refreshing to see. I'm curious to learn more about her as the show goes on. And lastly, that girl Yui. Now she seems very energetic and eccentric, and when she accepted Yukino's harsh words towards her, the way she acts, personality, and how she was accepting of it, and even appreciating it was just amazing to see. I like the advice being laid out that can actually be applied to life, and overall it makes me want to watch more to see what potential arguments and problems may arise, and what words about life can be rung true. In terms of best girl, I probably like Yukino the best so far, but Yui, in that one scene at the end where she just does a little side back and forth, that's so cute. Solid. Episode Dos. This episode delves into the hierarchy, aka cliques, groups, and trying to fit into them. It's a little painful to see Yui try to fit in, but also nice to see that she learned from what she was given in the last episode. The other focus in the episode was the writer friend and the concept of criticism. It was a cool second half establishing the idea of this friend for Hachiman. There's a little bit of a cringe pass. This episode hit myself in the high school flashbacks, and I think that's all the more power to the show. I still like Yukino a lot, but I can relate to Yui. Also, Hachiman is best girl. What the heck? Episode Trace. This episode is just about tennis. New trap scene's neat, but more importantly, you see Hachiman still being Hachiman. This episode he actually wanted to help because he was approached for help, and that was pretty cool. Seeing Yukino and Yui get closer as friends is, obviously adorable. The writer is back, cool to see him do the occasional over-the-top commentary. And we see how Hachiman's loner's ways could get applied to life. Nothing too spectacular, but it's just another fun episode. Episode 4. I like this episode. Explored a little more into these characters we've seen before, specifically this Hayama guy, this nice guy type of guy, and what Hachiman thinks of it. Concepts like how sometimes friends just stick around for the sake of a single person. That one hits the high school feels because some groups literally revolve around a person in real life. I always appreciate the club room character dynamics every episode, and this one was just constant jabs at Hachiman with a tinge of cringe backstory. His sister is introduced, and we see Saika again as a sort of friend for Hachiman. Isn't this guy? I don't know where he places, but I'm just curious to see how Hachiman reacts to having friends. If he'll learn anew or just repeat the same cycle. I have to admit, I sometimes forget what it feels like to be invested in anime, but this one is truly wonderful. Episode 5. Dude, I'm still in shock from the ending. Okay. This episode's a little nice confrontation with the older sister and the younger brother, which was just a fair bit of worrying about each other. The solution in the end was scholarship money and the sorts. There was also a fair bit of maids, fancy outfits, and a smooth, classy Yukino argument with a Snow White analogy in there. But what really hit hard, was Hachiman's message to Yui at the end. After finding out the person's dog he saved long ago's owner was Yui, he suspected she was just nice to him because he saved her dog. That resulted in her crying and calling him a jerk, and that's the first real emotional hit of the show, and with a character who is normally so cheerful and nice to everyone. Gah! I need to see the next episode. My heart cannot take it. Gosh darn, I feel so bad for Yui. Even though I thought this was about the white-haired girl, it turned out to be just drama over Yui. Was that what the title of this episode was implying? Episode 6. So this was a resolution to the whole Yui conflict starting after last episode. Started out with some distancing of Yui and Hachiman, a sort of date at the mall with Yukino where her big sister was randomly introduced, and finally the happy resolution to it all with a reset of the status quo for the better between Yui and Hachiman. Yukino really caring about her friend was something nice to see, and Hachiman clearing the anime misunderstanding in this episode too was sweet, as I've seen a good amount of shows with constant misunderstandings. I'm glad it was all resolved in this episode. They acknowledged the issue, We learned some more about them all, and everything turned out deja vu, and I'm so sorry. Also, Yukino had a bunch of cute moments this episode. Episode 7, so I didn't expect a camp trip with basically the main group and the clique in one setting, having to help some kids out. So this kid, Rumi Samuri, seems to be the main focus of this little arc, and will surely bring about some resolution to the characters. But it's interesting to see a confrontation between Yukino and Clique Girl, I don't even know her name, when they're forced to work together. That's about it. Also tells us a literal mood. Episode 8. As with the nature of cliffhangers, that limo scene at the end being the same one connected to the car that hit Hachiman when he saved the dog was unexpected. It will probably play a part in the future episodes. But talking about the episode at hand, the conclusion to the girl who isolated herself using a method that seems harsh from Hachiman to reveal the worst of relationships and how easily they can fall apart just turned out to be the opposite of that, with Rumi helping them all. Also, can I just talk about that fan service? I did not expect that this episode. Like, it was just randomly there. It's good stuff. Okay, that's it. The episode was solid. Yui really grown on me again. And if I have to pick a best girl by the end, well, I have no clue what to say. We're about to enter Yukino territory this next episode probably, so onwards! Episode 9! This was a cool Yui episode. Even though the focus turned to Yukino in the end, this was a big, hugely dated episode for Yui. She had many sweet moments, those sweet words about how she would meet Hachiman despite the accident, her wanting to help her friends and understand everyone. That resonated with me. Yui's absolutely cool. Hachiman's dialogues and expressions are always cool, and the little tidbits like the limo, pained expression, and the slight extension of the train scene acknowledging it still makes me like Hachiman as a protagonist. Acknowledging normal protagonist plot points and denseness, and not giving the typical responses in its own weird Hachiman way is pretty neat. So the very cute episode was just a compelling conclusion. Episode 10. Okay, nothing feels right. When Yukino isn't herself, the entire dynamic is awkward. I thought that would be it, but her entire interaction with her sister was menacing. Even the way her sister acted towards Yukino was so menacing, so off, so scary. The person that ended up becoming president just allocated the workload to Yukino, and her idea of everyone just having fun and not doing the work ahead of time just created more work for Yukino. And it was just misery, it's just unfair, it's not balanced. This entire episode just did not feel right, and never, I don't know, this wasn't really a reflection, So back on track from Mumble Jumble, we have episode 11. It was a nice step in the right direction. Not everything is directly back to normal, the dynamic is slowly coming back to fruition. Dub failed me with the slogans. This episode focused around slogans, but the subtitles did not appear because I was watching a dub. This is why you watch subtitles, but that was very nice, I have to admit. I think I like Yui. I think I like Yui a lot. It was mostly focused on the festival with a little bit of that classic Hachiman with his abrupt philosophy on people leaning on each other unevenly in the short stick analogy, driving that home, that the work balance was unfair. Other than that, it was visiting Yukino and some quality, Yui being a little upfront, wanting help, and yeah. Episode 12. This episode was the follow-up and the kind of conclusion to the festival and whatnot. So anyway, the sister is still scurry, and the music was pretty bliss to listen to. And Hachiman's actions are, once again, brutal, honest, and hit close to home. The main thing I really liked about this one specifically is that Hachiman doesn't do a Hayama, aka nice guy, instead makes himself the heartbreaker enemy. This particular time felt like there was some consequence as he hurt feelings, got a bad rep, and even though at the end of the day it worked out, it cost him quite a bit. Though he'll have his friends, which one day Yukino will accept. You can basically write in each reflection, Hachiman is Hachiman, and that would pretty much be accurate. I love this dude, and this episode is pretty good. Now, judging from that preview, this next episode now has room to be whatever it wants. Episode 13. Feels weird because for a finale episode, I should probably have a lot more to say, but it was just a fun little isolated sports episode. You have the usual Yukino and Yui and Hachiman dynamic. There were some pretty anime sports festival battles, that was pretty neat. Just a normal fun episode, that's pretty alright. I feel like I should probably talk with my own thoughts without a script. Yeah, I really enjoyed the series a lot. It was a ton of fun. Literally every one of Hachiman's speeches relates so closely with high school life and kind of just life in general, and it was a blast to see throughout the entire show. Not only that, but how his opinions is bounced off of Yukino and bounced off of Yui, and how all these different contrasting people came together to solve these various issues that came along the show. It was honestly just a blast. From episode 1 to 13, had an absolute run, had an absolute blast of emotions, fun time, bunch of drama happened, bunch of cutesy moments happened. Oh my god, I haven't been this touched by anime in quite a while, and whoever told me to watch this, well, Congrats, it was great. It's wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna continue watching it after this. I'm probably gonna watch season 2 after I finish this. Oh my god, I feel like I could go on for so much more, but I don't want to make this a huge run-on sentence, or not run-on sentence, it's a run-on video, because many others have done that plentifully well, and I'd just be kind of beating up the bush saying, Hachiman's great, Hachiman's great, But yeah, most school life anime, this one probably has the most life lessons, and honestly relates so much to school. And as someone who just recently graduated from high school, it's kind of a nice reflection back, because some of it I could be like, yeah, I relate to that, and some of it I could be like, yeah, it's absolutely true, what the heck. Anyway, before I go, I promised myself that I would say who best girl is, and in my opinion, best girl is you. Hama. I'm gonna get a lot of credit for that one, but you know, I'm in season 2 or 3. May subject to change. They're both cute, cool characters. And before I say the trap, that would have been a blast to say. Well, anyway, my name's John Scobie. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it isn't the best thing ever. I'm testing out a different format. Have a good day now.